Good morning, Mayor. Good morning, council members. I'm pleased to present the monthly financial and operations report for the period ending June 30th, 2013. Our office is projecting an ending fund balance of $181.1 million for FY 2013. This is $486,000 lower than the projection from the finance department, and the difference is due to a $486,000 higher revenue projection from finance. Based on our projections, fund balance will be $52.1 million above our 7.5% targeted threshold. We've increased our revenue projections $4.8 million over last month's projection. Property tax we increased $2.8 million, and that's due to higher delinquent collections. Industrial assessments we increased $840,000, and that reflects a higher than expected collection rate. Sales tax increased $1.9 million, and that's reflecting new sales tax received. Licenses and permits increased $1.4 million, and that's for burglar alarm and special fire administration fees. Charges for services we decreased by $3.7 million, and that's mainly for lower ambulance collections. The direct interfund decreased $570,000, that's for lower chargebacks to Houston Transtar and Houston Permit Center. Miscellaneous and other, we increased $474,000 for recoveries and refunds. Finally, we increased transfers from other funds by $1.8 million, and that's our higher transfers from the parking management and our hot taxes. And the expenditure projections decreased $5.2 million, that's from last month's report, and that's primarily for year-end savings in personnel, supplies, and services in various departments across all lines, as well as a $1.1 million decrease in general services, and that's attributed to lower utility costs. As it relates to the enterprise funds, the aviation operating fund, we've increased our projection for operating revenues to $9.5 billion. That's primarily for parking and concession revenues. We also increased our projection for operating expenses $700,000, and that's for higher supplies and vehicle maintenance costs. This cost corresponds to the increase in our capital improvement transfer. In the convention and entertainment facilities operating fund, our projection for operating revenues increased $591,000. Once again, parking revenues were higher than expected. Non-operating revenues increased $1.8 billion, and that's for higher than expected hot tax receipts. Our projection for the combined utility system operating expenses decreased $4.1 million, and that's for savings in personnel and overhead costs. We also decreased our projection for operating transfers to $6.5 million, and that's due to continued lower interest rate and delayed equipment acquisitions and project costs. In the dedicated drainage and street renewal fund, we decreased our projection for expenditures by $700,000, and that's primarily for savings in personnel, supplies, and services. Our projection for the stormwater fund operating expenditures decreased $1.5 million, and that's for lower than expected personnel, supplies, and services. And we also decreased our operating transfers by $927,000, that's for transfers in from the CUS. Commercial paper and bonds are outlined in the monthly financial and operations report. Mayor, at this time I'd like to present the quarterly investment report for the quarter ending June 30th, 2013. Council members, you've received a copy of the investment report. We are yielding about a little over 81 basis points right now. The portfolio is a little higher than it was last quarter. We're at about $2.9 billion. The yield is down from last quarter, and that's basically due to reinvestment risk. So the report is given to you in a separate form. I'd also like to present the quarterly swap report. The quarterly swap report as June 30th. The city had net interest earnings on the fiscal year ending June 30th from swaps of $2.4 million in revenue. If you have any other questions regarding our swaps, I will be glad to present those to you. That is the monthly financial operations report, the quarterly investment report, and the quarterly swap report from the Comptroller's office.
Good morning. This is the 12.0 financial and operations report for the period ending June 30th, 2013. Our fiscal year 23 projections are based on 12 months backwards, which will not be finalized until publication of the FY13 comprehensive annual financial reports. We're currently projecting ending unrestricted fund balance of $181.6 million. That's approximately 10.55% of expenditure less debt service. The projected ending fund balance is $6.6 million higher than last month's projection. It's driven primarily by revenue changes where we saw general property taxes increase $3.1 million due to higher collection rates. Sales tax increased $1.9 million due to higher trends in that area. Licenses and permits increased $687,000 due to collection and billing efforts in that category. Charges for services decreased $5 million due to lower ambulance fee collections. In direct interfund service, we decreased our projection $570,000. That's due to lower than anticipated chargeback services to Houston Transtar and the Houston Permit Center. Our miscellaneous revenue category saw a decrease of $423,000 due to lower than projected reimbursement rates from CenterPoint Energy. And finally, in our transfers from other funds, we increased that projection $1.8 million due to an additional transfer from the parking management fund and slightly higher hotel occupancy tax collections. In expenditures in the general fund, our projection for expenditures and other uses decreased $5.2 million from last month's projection, primarily due to personnel savings in various departments. The projection also reflects a decrease in general services of $1.1 million due mainly to lower projections in utility costs. In the enterprise funds, we agree with the controller's projections in all categories. I will just note, Councilmember Greene, in the combined utility system fund, to your question, is how much of the operating transfer of the 6.5, that decrease was driven by lower rates, and that's 5.3 million is driven by lower rates. So I'll move on to the risk management funds. There in the health benefit funds, our revenues increased by $2.8 million due to increased contribution from the new rates, and that contribution was higher than we had planned. On non-operating revenues, that category increased $1.4 million, primarily due to contractual performance guarantees not met, and our expenditure projection decreased $11.6 million due to favorable claim activity over the latter part of the year. In the property and casualty fund, our operating revenues and expenditures decreased by $8.2 million to reflect lower legal services and claims. Moving on to the special funds, our operating revenues in the asset forfeiture fund increased $595,000 due to increase in court awards, and our operating expenditures decreased $378,000 due to delays in uniform purchases. We had a $378,000 increase, expenditure increase in auto dealers due to cost for new hardware systems. In our building inspection fund, our operating revenues decreased by $1.3 million due to lower occupancy fees, and our operating expenditures decreased by $345,000 to reflect savings in personnel, supplies, and services. In cable TV, our operating expenditures decreased by $835,000 due to project delays, the construction and build-out downstairs, namely for the HTV studios. They're moving a house. In the parking management fund, our operating revenues increased by $1.2 million, primarily due to higher than anticipated meter revenues and contract parking revenue. And our operating expenditures increased consequently by $925,000, primarily due to additional transfer to the general fund as a result of the higher than anticipated revenues and lower expenditures. In the Parks Golf Fund, our operating expenditures decreased $345,000 to reflect savings in personnel, supplies, services. In the Park Special Revenue Fund, operating expenditures decreased $484,000 from a delay in construction services. In the Police Special Fund, our operating revenues increased $833,000, primarily due to transfer from the general fund for purchase of police vehicles, offset by lower than anticipated contribution and services from outside agencies. And our operating expenditures decreased by $1.6 million to reflect savings in personnel, supplies, and services. Finally, in the Recycling Expansion Program Fund, our operating expenditures decreased by $562,000 due to lower than anticipated personnel and services costs over the course of the year. Thank you very much, and that concludes our report.
Councilmember Burke.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me just start off saying that I look at these reports and I try to do my due diligence as far as understanding them, ask questions. And speaking of that, I have consistently asked questions about the collections of ambulance fees ever since we raised the fees, and I voted no against that. And each time I asked, it was always, we're doing better, now we're doing okay, we're where we want to be, we're getting better. Because I asked specifically, Medicare, Medicaid, are we collecting from them and other people, other companies? Now we see, you have in your report on number 6, says charges for services decreased by $5 million due to lower ambulance fee collections. Why wasn't this given to council? And then today on the agenda we have something about that too. Why wasn't this information given to us in a timely manner?
Well, I do believe actually we've consistently categorized our ambulance fee billings is having issues all along. I think we've said that we've been working with the vendor. I know I've said we've been working with the vendor to try to sort through those issues and that we weren't satisfied where we were at with ACS. So I would disagree with the characterization that we've never said anything or that we've said that it's improving and we're happy with where it's at.
I'm not here to disagree, I just want to know why aren't we told? That's my question.
Well, this would be the first month that the impact actually shows up in June. We had issues, we tried to cure them with the vendor. We had hoped that we could restart billing before the end of the fiscal year. Unfortunately, that didn't work, and so June is the month that revenue shortfall shows up, and so that's why it's in this report.
Well, looking back at your matrix and looking at your report, you used to report ambulance, you spelled it out in the report, the database, as far as ambulance fees are concerned. But now I look back into the matrix on page Roman 7-13, and yes, as far as July of 2012, there was a peak moment, but then at the same time it began to drop at that point. And I've been asking this question since we raised it, since 2012. This is what I thought was going to happen. It has happened. That's what I'm saying right now. And I really would like, as far as I'm speaking for myself, and I'm quite sure some of my colleagues believe the same thing. We're here to vote and we're here to do and to work with you. But we need to know the information when it comes up. We had a problem with this company that was doing collections. We should have known about that. That's why I was asking those specific questions. But needless to say, we'll deal with this today. But thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Councilmember Costello.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the monthly financial operation report for FY 2013 period ending June 30th. Also, the quarterly investment and swap reports for the same period.
Second. Moving to the vote, favoring, opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Comptroller Greene. And I trust that the CAFR is proceeding.
CAFR is proceeding quite well, and it will be out timely once again for the 4th year in a row. And by the way, happy birthday, Councilman Davis. I understand that we have a national holiday today.